All right, today is Thursday, March 25th, and welcome to the meeting of the Azure Cloud Provider subproject of SIG Cloud Provider. And this meeting is governed by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, and as such, let's be nice to each other. And we're also recording this, and it will be posted to YouTube. And I'll do that for the last meeting as well. Welcome, Christian. Maybe you could introduce yourself real quickly and let us know what brings you here.
Sure. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Christian. I work for Giant Swarm. I am an SRE for the Azure team. So that's why I'm here. I'm interested in the topic because, yeah, we deal with Kubernetes on Azure on a daily basis. So just getting started.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. So
Thanks.
just by way of introduction as well, I'm a PM working in the Azure team. I work in the, we call it the Azure Container Compute Upstream team. Our team is responsible for contributing to the Kubernetes community ecosystem projects, as well as making sure that Microsoft and Azure products and services can consume all the great stuff that comes out of the ecosystem. So we're both inbound and outbound. And I'm one of the leads in the Azure Cloud Provider. And as I was explaining to you before we started the recording, the maintainers of the project currently are Microsoft employees who are based in China. So we have a split time zone problem where a lot of our users are in Europe and a lot of our maintainers are in China. We have a lot of users in China as well, of course, but that poses a particular challenge for communications. So I would love to discuss ideas for how we can make sure you get the right information you need as a user, and also to help you if you are interested in contributing to the project. So you didn't come with any particular topics. The agenda is quite light. Let me share it real quick and go through that and then discuss anything else that we would like to discuss. So I guess I'll take notes for this time since there's not going to be a whole lot. So please feel free to add your name, Christian, to the list of attendees. Appreciate that. And just for the kind of two announcements, we're getting really close to release of the Azure Disk Blob Fuse driver. Essentially, it lays on top of Azure Blob Store and provides a virtual file system, which is pretty cool. I don't know if it's of interest to your applications. And then the other piece of news that may be of interest to you, I don't know exactly how you operate Kubernetes on Azure at Giant Swarm, but AKS hosts public office hours. So this topic is particularly around running. Today, we're here about running Kubernetes on Azure and all the issues around various cloud provider issues. But if you're interested in the managed service, that meeting is also available. And so I provided the link there. Just for a little bit of background information, over the last year and a half, we've been working very closely with SIG Cloud Provider to extract the cloud provider from Kubernetes in tree and move it out of tree. We have been migrating all our tests to do both in tree and out of tree tests, and we feel very comfortable with our out of tree cloud provider at this point. I guess another piece of news that I should share here is that the cloud provider tests are going to be migrated from AKS Engine to cluster API provider Azure over the coming months, with a period of running both in parallel. So that's that will impact the configuration for tests, but the intention is to move the vast majority of the tests from using AKS Engine to using Cluster API. There may be some tests that require features that aren't supported in Cluster API, where we may need to continue to use AKS Engine or other mechanisms to run those tests. An example of that would be the basic load balancer, which is not supported in Cluster API. I actually always get it confused which one is which. It's the older one. the newer load balancer in Azure is definitely supported in Cluster API provider Azure, and we'll definitely be having that test there. So that's all of the news. I don't know, Christian, are there particular areas where you are working with the provider and would like some help or guidance? Or?
Not really. You've been prophetic, because I had a question about out of 3 cloud provider controllers, because that's something I worked on a few months back, because we wanted to use the external provider basically to run it as a pod, but yeah, it was not possible back then, because yeah, we didn't find a reasonable way of doing it. It seemed that it was a very big work in progress. So yeah, you've been prophetic, and you already answered to that before I even asked. So.
Well, so let us know how your experience is using it. There's certainly documentation in the repo. We can take a look at that real quick if you would like.
Why not?
Of course. So the docs are, there's actually a docs site, which I always forget the URL for. But you can, this talk points you to the cloud provider config. And one of the things that I would love feedback on is, we've done our best to kind of document all of the knobs and dials that we put in place to improve performance and kind of optimize consumption of the Azure APIs based on your workload. If you have any struggles understanding or getting those to work right for you, please don't hesitate to reach out in the Slack channel or file an issue. Those things would be much appreciated. That feedback is always welcome.
Awesome. Yeah, we are now in a phase that we are transitioning away from our Kubernetes distribution to fully cluster API support. So we are basically going with upstream decisions about most of these things. Yeah, but yeah, if I have any questions, I will definitely look at them. Yeah, post them in Slack.
Yeah, there's also documentation on how to configure the cloud provider in the cluster API docs. Here. So there's this template here that defines exactly how to use the external cloud provider.
Oh, nice.
I haven't looked at it in a while, so I can't remember exactly the layout. Here.
But is this the external one? Yes, down there for controller manager.
Yep.
Okay, and so this requires, of course, running somewhere the controller manager somewhere. Sorry, the cloud controller.
Yeah, so that's specified. Where is the cloud controller specified? Right here. So it uses the add-on and references this cloud controller manager YAML.
Okay, makes sense.
Great. Well, we'd love to have your feedback on how that works for you.
Sure.
Any other topics you'd like to hit on since we're here today, or otherwise?
I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you in the Slack channel in the cloud provider, and also if it's CapZ specific. Also, if you're not aware, there's office hours for cluster API provider Azure. In the plan. Have you attended those office hours yet?
Just once.
Okay.
Last week.
Oh, great. Yeah. Sorry if I missed that. I'm usually there too. Well,
No.
great. Welcome to the community, and
Thank you very much. Thanks, Craig. See you. Thank you.
Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye.